Hello everyone, you read the title of the video, so let's get right into the first build. It uses 2 pieces of Raging Brekkie and 3 pieces of Teostra, which unlocks the Agitator Secret and Teostra Technique. Agitator Secret unlocks 2 more levels on Agitator, while Teostra Technique lets you have infinite sharpness as long as you land critical hits, so having absolute maximum critical hit chance is pretty important here. And I killed this poor Tigrex while maintaining the very little sharpness on my Light Break Axe throughout the entire hunt, though you can of course use something like a Safi Jiva Blast Switch Axe or even Teostra Blast Axe. The Raging Brekkie Switch Axe has good slots though, which are always useful. If you want, you can also use a Safi Axe with Teostra Essence, so you can use another armor piece like from Fatalis or another powerful piece that suits your intention better. You really shouldn't underestimate the gain in DPS by maintaining near infinite purple sharpness and not having to sharpen ever. Little reminder about sharpness: the sharpness modifier not only determines whether you bounce on a monster's scales, but also provides a damage bonus within the pretty complex damage calculation in each hit. So maintaining the highest possible sharpness of your weapon is very important. Especially the jump from white to blue sharpness is very noticeable. The next build consists of a full Safi build, which is a very viable option for raw damage as well as elemental builds. The affinity buff can counteract low and negative affinity or save you some slots you would usually use for critical eye, but where this armor really shines is elemental and status builds. The raw build with either the Light Break or Fatalis Switch Axe lets me kill Runa no Gigante consistently in 5 to 6 minutes, while the elemental version kills Elatrion in about 12 minutes and suppresses him easily 3 times before Eschaton Judgment. Safi armor with Kia weaponry is probably the best possible combo for elemental damage because of their very high elemental damage and built-in critical element. Alternatively, you can use Frostfang Barioth Switch Axe for ice, Anjanath or Silver Rathalos for fire, Coral Pookie for water, Kirin for thunder and a Elatrion for dragon. Here you can see my Safi elemental setup I've used a long time against Elatrion. By the way, you can check your equipment with Dragon Vein active if you go into a weapon pose and then check your equipment info. And let's also talk about status builds really quick, even though they aren't really meta overall. This is my general setup for status builds, where you only have to switch these decors for their respective status. If you want to see it in action, I recommend my Paralysis Demon video, which you can find in the pinned comment below the video. Though in the beginning of that video I displayed a flawed build with too much critical boost instead of 3 level crit boost and 3 level weakness exploit, so stick to the build shown here please. A powerful alternative to Safi element builds is a 4-piece Silver Rathalos build, here with a Fatalis helmet. What makes the Silver Rathalos armor so interesting is the true critical element. It gives you 50% more elemental damage on critical hits, while regular critical element only gives you 30% element bonus damage. A very viable build for Elatrion as well. And no, critical element and true critical element do not stack, though the Kia weapons are still a good choice because of their high element. And for the final endgame raw build, what better to use than the ultimate trophy? The Fatalis gear is simply unbeaten, and mixed with Kulf Beta legs, Velkhana Gamma legs or Elatrion Beta Vambraces, you can honestly make anything out of this build. The slots are just too ridiculous. The Fatalis Switch Axe also is a very good choice for literally any monster because of the extremely high raw damage. Not even the negative affinity can hold this thing back. Once you got this armor, the only thing you might have to do is farm some decos to fill all these slots with the right skills. You can go full Fatalis as well, it simply depends on your available decos to be honest, and I recommend you to experiment around. But the good thing about the Elatrion Vambraces is they provide you with 3 points in Power Prolonger, which doubles the time you are in end state, and Kulf Greaves gives you access to 2 levels of critical boost while still having decent slots available. And well, there isn't much else to say about this build. Fatalis gear is the ultimate goal, and this build will let you stomp anything that isn't Fatalis himself, Arc-Tempered Velkhana or that Gog-forsaken ape in the arena. And for the next build I want to showcase, we have a specialty I just recently put together to test my metal. A heroics build for all of you who are very confident in your skills. But the survivability with this build, even on 35% health and lower, is pretty decent thanks to the high defense of Fatalis gear, the 150 bonus defense of heroics and Divine Blessing level 5, which has a 40% activation chance on every single hit you receive. Keep in mind though that level 5 is mandatory because level 1 to 4 only have a 25% activation activation chance. And when you're running low on health, you really want Divine Blessing to activate when trying to be heroic against elders and similar monsters. In my recent videos I either used that build or an alternative version where I ditched Divine Blessing for even more offensive potential. And for Guiding Lance I also used a build where I put in Fortify, which I activated 2 times before going in and cleaning up the Guiding Lance. I will post about the results very soon, so stay tuned for that. For my Switch X builds I always try to include at least 3 level of evade window and power prolonger and anything that makes handling sharpness easier. There aren't any tailor-made skills for Switch X and Iceborne, like Quick Switch in Sunbreak, but I personally can't live without evade window and power prolonger. If you like a ZSD heavy playstyle, you also want to make sure to have Tool Specialist, so you can spam your mantles as much as possible. Or you just kill the monster before both mantles go on cooldown. And the sharpness maintaining or enhancing skill is also always welcome on Switch X, since you will burn through your sharpness very quickly with most X's. Thank you very much for watching. A best Switch X's video is coming soon, so please consider subscribing to not miss out on that. And if you have any video ideas, notes or requests, be sure to let me know in the comments. And until then, happy hunting guys.